Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D, Sean Dooley here, Baker Wildcats, like our third try at this. So, we were just starting to talk about your run here. You were at home. You ended up beating Concordia to get here. Talk about your pod and your crowd. The videos were all over X. Yeah. Everybody was looking at them, and then how they played into you being able to get here.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. So Bethel, Kansas played Concordia in the first game before, and before our evening crowds kind of really started showing up, the gym was filling up. Bethel and Concordia fans really traveled well down to Baldwin City. So it was a great atmosphere, for a neutral site for those two teams, the first one. Then as our game got closer more and more, and then by the time we were tipping off against Texas Wesleyan, it was pretty much a full house. And it was a real electric environment. Was really pleased with, especially considering it was just about to start spring break for us. Not just the student support, but the support from the alumni and the Baldwin City community was great, and really made a difference for sure.
Yeah. You were telling me Baldwin City is only about 5,000 people, huh?
Yeah, about 5,000. But we're just south of Lawrence, and anybody that's from Kansas or around this area knows that people around here love college basketball. And, if you put out a good product and a team that's fun to watch, that people will come out and support.
Yeah. So, Coach, is this the first time that the Wildcats have been to Kansas City?
First time since they've moved to this new format of the Sweet 16. Yeah. So, we were fortunate. We made the national tournament. This is our third year in a row. 2 years ago, we got beat in the first round, and then last season we won the first round game but lost in the second round. So a lot of these guys, a core group of them, have been here for 3 years in a row now, and so it's great to kind of break through and make it here to Kansas City.
You and I were just talking about every night I pull your stats. Yeah, and Quentin Harvey, Noah Rugatuso, I still think he's got the best name in the NAI. Ahmed Magoob, Quentin Harvey, I left somebody out.
Ty Henry.
Yeah. You're really balanced because Ahmed's up there almost every night, in one of the top two scorers. But the rest are, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's really balanced. Just talk about your team.
Yeah, and I think we are. I try to tell people, it's. I would imagine from opponents, it's really hard. A scout's hard because you can't really key on one specific guy. And as a result, we actually had 4 guys that made the all-conference first team. In the heart of America. So we really feel like we have 8 guys that are starter worthy in our group. You mentioned some of them there. Cayman Lennox is a senior that we have added to our team. He's a transfer in there. He's kind of like he's our 6th man, but really, really great energy and ability to score. The ball comes off the bench. Corey Jones is kind of starting some. He's our best defender. It was named to the all defensive team in the Heart. Provides great spark off the bench. And then Keenan Russell's another one. Is our big, probably our only true 5 that we have. That comes in as well and has had a great year and has played really well, played great this past weekend. So, some of those guys you mentioned, and then Nick Whittick is our starting point guard who doesn't score a whole lot, but might be the heart and soul of our team. He's our captain, one of our leaders, led the conferences in assists. I think against Concordia, he might have had 9 assists, 0 turnovers.
Oh, wow.
The other day played excellent for us. So again, you don't know who each night it might be that's scoring, but it's definitely a balanced and deep team for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Heart. You play 24 games. Is that a disadvantage because you don't really have an opportunity to schedule out and really get a feel for your team?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a disadvantage so much as knowing what to see. I think probably if you ask the guys, they would probably rather play less of them so they can get out and see, guys follow you and different people that kind of promote the NAI and you hear about them, but to actually get a chance to go play and to go to different gyms and different campuses, I think is definitely something that they, especially for guys that have been in the program a couple years or whatnot. But, that's the way it's been, for us. Actually, next year, we're adding a couple more teams to our league. So the conference schedule will change. We're going to drop it to 20, I believe. So we'll be able to have a little bit more non-conference schedules and everything else. But I do think it's great, especially early in the season, to get out and play other people to kind of see where you stacked up. I know it was really beneficial. I felt like we only had 4 non-conference games this year, but I felt like we played national tournament worthy teams in Ottawa and St. Mary near us. And then we went down to Florida and played Kaiser and Florida Memorial. To not just prepare us for our conference season, but to prepare us for if we're good enough to make this run and be able to play those type of teams.
You and I were just talking before we started. I know from a fan standpoint, I thought that Florida trip kind of defined you, because as a fan, I looked at it and I said, okay, is Baker for real? Well, we're going to find out. They're going to play Florida Memorial and Kaiser. You were able to go down there and split, which is good. Yeah. You were able to beat Kaiser with Vince Miskowitz. That's not easy to do. But that was a huge trip for you guys, wasn't it?
It was. And, we have an old veteran group. We have 10 seniors on our team. And so we knew we were going to have a chance to be good, but we needed to challenge ourselves. And that was kind of the purpose of it. And obviously going to West Palm Beach in November is not bad.
It's better than Baldwin City in November.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was great. This is a special group of guys that obviously mean a lot to me personally for what they've done to our program. Because like you said, people are like, well, who's Baker, right? And we've won over 20 games 3 years in a row. We've got 30 now, but we're not the same guys. It's not Georgetown. It's not Grace. It's not these guys that are kind of built these national powers that everybody expects them to be up to the top. But we do feel like it's a group that we feel like we can play with anybody. And, but to do that, you got to go out and have success, and you got to beat some of those teams. And, again, that was just about us challenging ourselves, not to so much put us on the national radar, but again, it was to get ourselves ready for conference play. Our guys had the goal of going out and winning that. And, we didn't want to go play, 4 cupcakes or whatever and to try to get us ready for conference. No, we wanted to go challenge ourselves. And, if we were going to have success, then it would probably help us down the road as well. And it kind of checked all those boxes for us.
Talk a little about the Heart of America Conference. You had a pretty good battle going with Graceland for a while for the lead of the conference. You and I talked just a minute ago. Todd Lawrenson did a good job down there. Adam Hepker does a really good job in Mid-America. I'm going to start leaving coaches out, but it's got a lot. It's got a lot of good teams, good programs, historic programs, and a lot of good coaches.
Yeah, and I think the one challenge with it we kind of mentioned is when you play 24 of them, it's not just the physical; it's more the mental grind of it. So. You think about it, from middle of November, we're playing 2 highly competitive, meaningful games every week. And like we tell our guys all the time, that game in early November or middle of November is going to be just as significant and mean just as much as a game in middle of February. And so I think for teams to go through that is really tough, and the experience comes into play. A lot just in that, and not getting too high when you win a game, because you got to turn around, you got another one, and not to get too low. Oh man, we maybe blew one or didn't play well, you got another one coming right back up. So I think the experience factor of going through that was a big help for us. We were cruising for quite a while going through there, and we're undefeated. I think we had won like maybe 16 games in a row after losing to Florida Memorial. And then we got tripped up at Peru, which was a national tournament team. They got us there, and then we turned around that next day or the next Saturday and lost a tough one at Grandview. And that just kind of gave our guys a chance to kind of humble us a little bit, refocus, and then, we've been able to improve and get better here down the stretch.
You mentioned that there's multiple schools of thought on that. The effect of losing, especially as you come up toward the playoffs. I'm old school. I think if a team's coming into playoffs with a 15-game winning streak, I'm worried.
Yeah,
I'm old school. What do you think?
Hey, I would much rather learn off wins than off losses.
Yeah.
And you probably have to ask our guys about it and to see kind of what happened. You go on the road in our league and to any team that's national tournament worthy and lose at their place, and especially at that time, I forget where we had gotten up to in the polls. We might have been in the top 5. But every single night you're getting everybody's best shot and you're going into pretty hostile environments. And which was fun for our guys and embrace it, but there are challenges, and in order for you to get the result you want, you got to play well, and we just didn't play well that week. Credit to them for taking advantage and beating us.
The opponent gets a vote. That's what I always say.
That's very true.
So you're coming in. You're in Kansas City. You play Oklahoma Wesleyan not till Friday, right?
Friday night at 7. Yep.
Friday. So last game.
Yeah.
Last game of that.
Yeah.
So it's Kansas versus Oklahoma. Donnie Bostwick team. I'm famous for saying don't bet against Donnie Bostwick.
Yeah.
But it's a well-coached team. Jaden Litsky's healthy. Really, it's a very good team. So when you look at them on film, what are your thoughts on them?
They are very good. And Coach Bostwick and I, or us, even though we're kind of fairly close, Baker and Oklahoma Wesleyan hadn't played each other. We've had some similar opponents, common opponents over the years. We normally play several KCAC schools. We're in the same arc and everything else, but known Coach for a while, and he does a heck of a job. And any time, no matter who the personnel is for them, Oklahoma Wesleyans are going to guard. They're one of the best defensive teams year in, year out. This group is just right up there with all of them. So it would be a challenge. It'll be a challenge. They had the big fella was out for a little bit and they kind of dropped off, but like you said, he's fully healthy, it looks like, and so it'll be a great challenge for us. But when you get to this point, there's 16 teams left. Everybody's here for a reason. They all have talented players, great coaches. So we're looking forward to the challenge. And I think what we're really looking forward to is excited to see what type of atmosphere might be there. I know from the NAI standpoint, we're kind of like the local team. We have a huge alumni base from the greater Kansas City area.
Oh, yeah, because how far is it to Baldwin City?
We're 40 minutes from here.
Oh, you're going to get a lot of fans.
So I'm hopeful that, I know you guys have posted some stuff of what our environment was like here kind of in the conference tournament in those first 2 rounds there of the national tournament. So I hope it's even bigger here and really can feel municipal and not just to support us, but just to really promote and show NAI basketball and the NAI tournament that I know means so much to so many from around here.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that aspect, but you're close enough where you should get quite a few fans.
I would think so.
It would be a fun atmosphere. And Oklahoma Wesleyan is, from a fan standpoint, they're fun. I don't know if it'd be so much fun playing them, but they won't have a lot of fun playing you either.
Well, yeah, it should be a great game. I think all these games, I think they said the winning percentages or something in this tournament or the final 16 are like as high as it's ever been. So I think it's going to be great. Just, 8 great games, coming up this week.
So before I let you go, what's your plan with the guys? You're going to get over and watch some games tomorrow and let them get a feel for the...
Yeah. And I think so. We've got the event here that we do, like Champions of Character event. And we're actually going to go back to Baker and practice tomorrow in our own gym. Like you said, it's not too far from here. So we'll do that and come back, watch a little bit tomorrow afternoon, just so the guys can soak it in. And we'll try to do that again on Friday. And then we've got dinner set up with our honorary coaches. So that's such a
nice.
great thing that the NAI does and the partners here with the local businesses in Kansas City. So, for us, I actually kind of like playing on Friday, for our team that hasn't been here yet, to kind of be able to soak it in a little bit.
I agree,
and, get themselves kind of ready to go. And so hopefully we can play our best on Friday night.
Well, it's going to be a fun one Friday at 7.
Absolutely.
That's Coach Sean Dooley, Baker Wildcats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.